Today I wanted to go through 5 slightly unorthodox genealogy tips that maybe will help you jumpstart your research or find something you've long been looking for. My first one is community cookbooks and church cookbooks. Both of my grandmas have a lot of recipes in this cookbook from 1985 from Geddes, South Dakota. And while maybe you are trying to find things about your great-great-great-grandparents, look into which descendants stayed in that area, and maybe you can find family recipes out there from the people that stuck around that area. Most of these cookbooks you'll find from like the 1950s through the 1980s. That was the most common time for them. But they supposedly originally started with recipe collections sold by Civil War ladies to raise money for Union Army war relief efforts. And you'll find them in a lot of other charitable organizations and communities. Not as often in large cities. You'll find it kind of more for the small towns, more rural areas. That's where I've had the best luck anyway. Go search on eBay for organization names and locations and see what's out there. There's a lot that I see posted for areas where my family lived every day. The Minnesota Historical Society has hundreds in their archives, and they span more than 140 years. 1881 is the oldest one that they have a record of. But like I said, yeah, mostly 50s through the 80s, but still worth a look to see what there is on eBay. 2 is a website called whatwasthere.com. And it is a community-sourced, user-sourced website, a lot like Find a Grave, where people can upload photos of where things existed that maybe aren't still there today, and then it's overlaid onto Google Maps. It would be a particularly helpful research tool to see where churches are that maybe your ancestors attended and maybe aren't still standing. That would give you an idea of where they may have gone, and then historical records that you can look into for burials and baptisms and marriages. Because a lot of times, if these churches aren't still standing, somebody else has the records. You just have to figure out who has them. Let's see. So I looked up in Minneapolis, and there were 254 entries nearby where I live. And one of them that is especially interesting is there is a Roach family bicycle shop from the 1880s listed. And that is an example of something that might be a jackpot moment for you. Let's say you are descended from the Roach family and you just happen upon this website and you can see the bicycle shop with your ancestors sitting outside of it. So it's kind of hit or miss, but you may get lucky. You just never know. And it might give you some historical context for the area where your family lived as well. And also it's kind of fun to upload pictures and put them on the map and for others to find. 3, join local and regional historical societies. Find the areas that you are most interested in your research and reach out to those groups and join. It's only $15 or $20 per year usually, and then you get a lot of member-only access in addition to access of the local volunteers that may be able to go look things up for you. Perhaps they have volumes of paper that pertain to your family, and it's not digitized anywhere. It's not on Ancestry.com or Family Search, and this could be the only copy of it. Maybe they have newspapers in print, not digitized at all, and they find that obituary that you've been looking for 20 years. Definitely support these groups. They could really use it, and they are the local experts. And some of that knowledge does not exist anywhere online. It's only with them. My favorite one that I have found is Caleishall and Clonanese Historical Society in County Tyrone, Northern Ireland. After I found that my family came from there, they helped me so much. I joined their society, and they got my family back another generation into the early 1700s. Members there were very happy to go out to the site where my family lived and take photos of some of the buildings that would have been from that era. Things like that. They are just thrilled to talk local history with you, and it is just an indispensable part of research. You can find so much. 4, books.google.com for county histories. If you have a prominent member of your family, they probably paid to be in these county histories that came out in the late 1800s, early 1900s. and you might be able to find a whole biography about them in there. If your family is not listed in there, but let's say they're from Pennsylvania, living in Iowa, and their next door neighbor is also from Pennsylvania, living in Iowa, look and see if this neighbor maybe has a write-up in there, because they often may be from the same place in Pennsylvania. People move together. So it's worth looking into to try to figure that out. Also, there are local histories and church directories, things like that on books.google.com too. And you might be able to find your family in there. My fifth off the beaten path genealogy idea is related to ancestors that seem to have no backstory. They just magically appeared one day on an 1850 census. You have no idea where they came from, and they are a complete and total brick wall. Well, one thing you can try is, let's say they were in a town called like Marion, Indiana. You can go out to books.google.com or just generally on the internet and search for the history of that small town of Marion, Indiana. And it might say out there that nearly everybody in the town came from Mecklenburg, Germany in 1848 and settled there to form the town. It might not necessarily be right, but it gives you a place to start looking, and it's worth a shot. The most specific version of that I have found was today. I was looking online for a history of a Russian Orthodox church here in Minneapolis, and it said in their records that, oh my God, it's windy, that nearly everybody that founded the church came from the villages of Becharov, Komlosa, Stebnik, and Regetovka near Prešov in Slovakia. That is a gold mine for somebody looking for their family in Slovakia. If they knew they went to that church and they were there when it was founded, then there you go. Thanks.